In 2015, in the very quiet city of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, something very scary happened when Tom Martins called 911 to report a family argument between his daughter and son-in-law. At the same time, police arrived at a fancy home and found Jason Corbett, a widower with 2 young children, brutally killed. This terrible event should serve as a warning about the risks of quickly letting strangers into close family relationships. That mysterious woman, Molly Martins, who came into Jason's life, had a complicated past full of wealth, struggles, and a bad relationship with mental health. As the court case goes on, the story shows how complicated self-defense claims of past violence and lying can be. It shows how hard it is to get justice for a family that has been tragedy shattered. When Molly met Jason, it meant a new beginning with a loving family and the children she had always dreamed of. For Jason, this partnership turned into a sad one-way trip with no way back. The American dream came true in Molly Martins' life. Born in Farragut to a rich and well-educated white family, she had a great childhood in a fancy mansion. In her early years, she lived in the beloved Little Princess neighborhood. Neighbors remember her as a shy, somewhat introverted girl who was good at swimming even though she missed a lot of school because of illness. When Molly's family moved to the Fancher Fox Run neighborhood, she kept going to Farragut High School and joined the swim team. Molly did not feel as good as her friends, but she still thought she was the best in her own world. Mother Sharon, who has a PhD in math from Georgia's Emory University, and Father Tom, who is an FBI agent and experienced lawyer, taught their children that results are the only way to measure success, whether they were real or imagined. People saw the Martins as important members of society. They were a family that wanted to be famous, wealthy, and have beautiful children. The kids were taught to win at all costs so they could keep living the way they did from a young age. Molly did not live up to these high hopes. This was the main problem. Tom and Sharon did everything they could to hide the fact that Molly was thought to be sick all the time with a problem in her left foot that caused her pain and led to many hospitalizations and surgeries. Molly was not actually sick enough to miss school. It was her mental health that was bothering her. To keep up a good public image, Tom and Sharon kept their daughter's problems within the family. Not many people knew what went on behind the doors of their fancy home. Because of her parents' help, Molly seemed to get into one of the best schools in the country in 2003. When she was a student at Clemson University, her picture was in the yearbook, but after 2004, there were no more records of her. Molly got her first job at the Knoxville beauty shop Visage Beauty, where she met stylist Jeremy Taylor. They went out together and were together for a year and a half. Even though they were close, Taylor only knew about Molly's leg health problems, which required multiple surgeries and kept her from working a lot of the time. Still, he admired her dancing and dance skills and never asked her about how hard it was on her foot. Following her breakup with Taylor, Molly signed up for a dating site, and on February 22, 2007, she began writing to Keith McKeon. They went on their first date almost a year before they met the divorced father of 2. Keith was the first person Molly told about her bipolar disease and some other problems that came with it. Even though Keith had sadness and chronic fatigue himself, he helped her and moved in with her a month later. Molly got a job as a nanny and started going to therapy. Things seemed to be going well. The fairy tale came to an end when she got a bad staph infection. The medicine she was taking for the infection caused her bipolar drug to not work properly, which caused a big change in how she behaved. Keith says that at one point, Molly was taking 16 pills every day plus an extra 10 when she needed to. A lot of these were for her bipolar illness and manic depressive psychosis. Molly stopped sleeping and things between them quickly got worse. Molly decided to conceive in an effort to salvage her relationship with her boyfriend, as later revealed by Keith in an interview where he mentioned that she always expressed the belief that having children would bring her happiness. Subsequently, she found herself pregnant. Keith expressed his intense fear at the time, stating that he was scared because he knew about the many medicines she was on. On September 16, 2007, Molly Jason Corbett experienced an early pregnancy loss. According to Keith, she was devastated, but he honestly admitted to feeling relieved and thought it was for the best. In February 2008, Molly was moved to a psychiatric unit in an Atlanta, Georgia Medical Rehabilitation Center because her health had not gotten better. There was no cost to her folks for the care. A few days after getting out of rehab, she informed Keith that she wanted to work as a nanny somewhere in Europe. Keith perceived this as a sign of her returning and didn't give much attention to her online advertisement for a nanny job. However, she later informed him that she had secured a job in Ireland and would be leaving for a while. The person who answered her ad was Jason Corbett. The future nanny's name is Jason Corbett, and he was in Limerick, Ireland. His parents, John and Rita, raised 8 kids, one of whom was Jason's twin brother, Wayne. The family values emotional wealth over material wealth, and even though they were having trouble with money since their father lost his job, they worked hard to give the kids a safe place to grow up. He got a part-time job as a security guard at a school sports center to help out. He was eager to make money so that he could treat his family and friends. Jason has always valued hard work and wanting to help those around him. This is why his family and friends love him so much. Margaret Fitzpatrick, who went by the name Meg, was one of the people who really liked Jason. They knew they were meant to be together as soon as they met. Once they were married, they quickly began making plans for a family because they both wanted a big happy home. They had their first child, Jack, in September 2004. 2 years later, their daughter Sarah was born. Meg and Jason were truly happy as they raised their kids and loved each other and their kids very much. Their life seemed perfect. But on November 21st, 2006, this perfect life came to an abrupt stop. Something terrible happened only 3 months after Sarah was born. Even though doctors tried to help her, Meg woke up with an asthma attack and passed away in the hospital. Jason was very sad when she died. Only his love for his children kept him going when he was sad and alone. His family helped him because they knew how important it was to be there for him during this tough time. Jason possessed qualities of humility and kindness, but he was uncomfortable with relying too much on his family for assistance in childcare. This idea weighed on Jason's mind and made him feel guilty or upset, as he didn't want to be a burden. However, his family didn't see him in the same way he saw himself. He chose to hire a maid in 2007. She was a Czech woman and Jason did not like her, so he let her go. There were problems when he hired a Spanish woman because they did not speak the same language. Both women were looking for short-term jobs and did not want to stay in Ireland for a long time, which made Jason angry because he was looking for a stable long-term helper. He finally decided that hiring an English-speaking nanny who was looking for long-term work would be the best thing to do. He sent an email to Molly Martins in early February 2008. The application she sent had mistakes on it, which came to light later. Molly told everyone that she had graduated from Clemson University, but she had actually quit. She also said she was approved to be a foster parent, but that was not true. She did not talk about her recent stay in a psychiatric hospital or her mental health problems. It seemed like Jason had finally found the right nanny. The possible maid agreed to take care of the kids in Ireland. She lived in Knoxville, Tennessee, and on March 10, 2008, she went to Ireland. At customs, the plan ran into trouble right away. Molly had trouble because her ticket only went one way, which caused problems with immigration services. She did not have a work visa and could not say how long she planned to stay in the country, though she was able to fix these problems and was let in. The happy American called Keith after 2 weeks in Ireland to tell him she was not going to be coming back. They called each other and broke up. Sarah and Jack quickly liked and loved their new nanny. Jason was glad that things were getting better. James did not have to worry because Molly took good care of the kids. Their friendship got stronger over time, and Jason began taking the nanny on dates. It was not easy for Jason and Molly to start dating because of some strange events. During the first few days, the honeymoon phase quickly ended. Jason knew there were problems with the situation, but Molly's skillful relationship with his kids made him feel better. They said yes to marriage in 2010. In addition to loving his new partner, Jason thought that his kids also loved Molly because she was caring. Following their wedding, Molly suggested they move to the United States because she missed her home country. Jason agreed because he knew the kids would miss Molly. The next year, he moved to a plant in Lexington and sold his home in Ireland. The wedding was big and took place in Molly's city of Knoxville that same year. Tom Martins, Molly's dad, walked her down the aisle, and their cousins Jack and Sarah were the ring boy and flower girl. Jason bought a fancy house in a well-liked neighborhood that has a club, a pool, tennis courts, schools, parks, and an 18-hole golf course. The house cost him $58,300 in cash. There were strange things going on during the wedding party. Molly told her friends that she and Jason's first wife, Meg, were friends before Meg died of cancer. On the other hand, Meg died in 2006, so Molly did not know Jason and could not have known his wife. Meg did not die of cancer. She died of a lung disease. The happy groom did not pay much attention to these talks, which was a shame. After many years, the family kept living in North Carolina. Jason joined the golf club and got involved in the community. Molly also worked as a swimming guide. Men liked Jason because he was friendly, and women liked Molly because she was good at baking and had a beautiful body. Their picture-perfect marriage included a handsome and friendly husband and a well-groomed and fit wife. You could tell they were deeply in love because they held hands, kissed, and laughed all the time. Molly had learned as a child to keep up a good front for other people, no matter what was going on behind closed doors. The marriage really did have a lot of problems. Jason did not want Molly to adopt his 2 kids, even though she kept trying. After becoming a mother, it seemed like a normal wish for a woman. But according to Jason's sister, her insistence became so strong and constant that it scared him. Molly told her neighbors that she was the real mother of the kids, and even told people she knew that she was pregnant with Sarah. The couple fought all the time about adopting a child. Jason was sad and missed his friends and family nights with his brothers and sisters. He longed to be back home. He really thought about getting a divorce and going back to Ireland with his son and daughter, which he told Molly the truth about. After the fight, she reacted right away and was very upset. Jason even hid the kids' papers because he was afraid Molly would throw them away to stop them from leaving. She tried very hard to keep him and the kids with her the more he thought about getting a divorce. Jason stopped being excited about life and put on a lot of weight, which made his young wife very angry. An overweight husband ruined their perfect public picture. The night before the murder, the couple went to a neighbor's house for dinner, where Molly yelled at Jason for having too much food on his plate in front of everyone. She told him straight out that he should not be eating that much for his size. Jason quietly went away from Molly's parents. Molly and her dad killed Jason the next night. Tom and Sharon came to visit in North Carolina on August 1st. Even now, no one knows for sure what the point of this visit was. Some people think that Molly and her dad planned the visit ahead of time to make sure that Tom would be there to help them commit the crime. For some, it is just another visit from the parents. Being that Tom and Sharon got there late at night, they chose to give the gifts they brought the next morning. This information is very important. They got Jack an aluminum baseball bat and were going to give Sarah a tennis racket after dinner. Sharon and Tom went to sleep in the guest bedroom in the basement. The kids went upstairs to their rooms on the second floor, while Molly and Jason went to their room on the first floor. Molly says that Sarah woke her up at 3 a.m. after a bad dream. She was upset, so Molly took her back to bed. She said that by the time she got back, Jason was awake and very angry, which led to a fight that killed him. Tom, who used to work for the FBI, heard strange noises coming from his daughter and son-in-law's bedroom as the fight started. Fearing for Jack's safety, he took the baseball bat meant for him and went to the room. He said that when he walked in, he saw Jason choking Molly. When Jason saw his father-in-law, he grabbed Molly tighter and dragged her to the bathroom while threatening to kill her. To get Jason to free Molly, Tom begged him, but Jason would not listen. So Tom stepped in to save his daughter. Tom said that Jason was still choking Molly after his first hit with the bat, so he kept hitting him. Jason finally let go of Molly and tried to grab the bat. After a fight, Jason grabbed the bat and hit Tom hard, knocking him to the ground. Tom said that Molly felt so scared that she grabbed a brick from the nightstand and hit Jason in the head with it. The father and daughter kept attacking the angry man until they realized he was no longer a threat to their lives. When Tom called the rescue service, he said that his son-in-law had hit his daughter during a fight and that Jason needed help right away. But when the police and fire departments got there, they saw something much worse than just self-defense. Lots of blood was all over the bedroom floor and walls, as well as on the ceiling and furniture. Pieces of Jason's head were all over the floor because his brain was so broken. In the report, the medical examiner said that it was hard to say how many blows were given because skull fragments fell to the table during the autopsy. First arriving police officers noticed a big difference between how badly hurt Jason Corbett was and how unharmed his daughter and father were. Their clothes were still on. There was no damage to Molly's thin bracelet, even though she said there was a life or death fight. Another important thing that was noticed was that there was blood on the brick. Jason's body was starting to dry out, and he felt cold to the touch, which means that a long time had passed before the emergency call was made. Also, why would someone put a brick on their nightstand? Detectives were suspicious that it was in the bedroom. Molly said she was looking at the brick before bed and thinking about the pattern because she was going to paint it with the kids. The case depended on how things looked, what was known about the outside, and the witnesses' statements. During asking, Molly admitted that her husband had abused her badly for years and that she had kept quiet out of fear of losing the kids. She said that lawyers told her to get proof of abuse for a custody fight, which is why she put recording devices all over the house. The detectives heard these records from her. During questions, Tom said that Jason had abused Molly physically many times. However, there was no proof of physical abuse between Molly and Jason during their time together. Self-defense was a big part of the defense at the hearing. People thought that Jason Corbett was a violent and drunk guy who hurt his family physically and emotionally. The defense even found people who said he might have killed Meg, his first wife. The family doctor said that Jason had been complaining about mood swings and that he felt like he was getting angry for no reason lately. Social workers talked to the kids. Jack and Sarah said their dad was always mad and hurt their mom. Expert reports given by the prosecution said that the audio recordings Molly made showed Jason's bad temper, but they did not show actual violence. Findings from toxicology tests also showed that Molly's prescription drug was present in Jason's blood, which suggests that this may have been the cause of his mood swings. The defense's claims shocked Jason's family, who knew him as a calm and kind man. They claimed that Molly made up the story and probably gave him illegal drugs to make him act out. For her records, the prosecution called in a bloodstain pattern analyst who said the path of the blood spatter did not fit a self-defense situation. Jason was attacked as he was getting up, and he had no way to defend himself because he was lying face down. He was hit over and over again. The year 2017 saw Molly and Tom get 20 to 25 years in jail each for murder. They filed an appeal a week later. In 2021, the North Carolina Supreme Court overturned their sentence for second-degree murder. This meant they would have a new trial. They got out of Davidson County Jail within an hour of each other in October 2023 after posting $200,000 bail. A father and daughter agreed to plead guilty to killing by accident. In November, the trial heard from Jack and Sarah Corbett, Jason's grown children who now live with their aunt in Ireland. Sarah conveyed that Molly Martins allegedly influenced her to engage in illicit activities, lie, and vomit. Sarah asserted that Molly mistreated her younger brother when they were both young, accusing their father of murdering their mother. Despite her initial affection for Molly, Sarah later realized she had been deceived. In his statement, Jack Corbett confessed to providing false information to the police at the age of 10. He felt really sorry about what happened as a result, and he said that what he told the police was used as a weapon to protect Molly and Thomas from getting punished. Jack vehemently denied witnessing any harm inflicted by his father on Molly, describing him as a loving and honorable man. He expressed the emotional toll, undergoing therapy to cope with the guilt of lying to protect them. The children's plea to Judge Hall was for the maximum 25-year prison sentence for Molly Corbett and Thomas Martins. However, their actual sentence in November 2023 was at least 4 years and no more than 6 years, considering the time already served. Advised not to interact with the Corbett family, Molly and Thomas may have benefited from a plea deal potentially shortening their prison term. Thomas Martin's lawyer remains optimistic about his client's potential release in 7 months. Collaborating with her aunt Tracy, Sarah authored and released a series of children's books addressing coping mechanisms for loneliness after losing a loved one. Meanwhile, Jack honed his skills in singing, songwriting, and rugby. Both brothers persist in seeking justice for their father. Thanks for joining us today as we explored the tragic events surrounding Jason Corbett's untimely death and the complex legal battle that followed. Don't forget to like this video if you found the story compelling and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing content. If you want to stay updated on this case or other true crime stories, hit the notification bell. We'll be back soon with more gripping narratives. Until then, take care and stay curious.